Limoux appellation?
Well, the Limoux appellation is a really special appellation. You have to think of it, I think of it, as a diamond set in a sea of rubies, because the whole of the Languedoc is so famous for red wine. And whereas in Limoux we've got something that's really special, we have an amazing terroir for white wine. It's true to say there is a Limoux red appellation, but Limoux really excels in its white wines. So it's a very small appellation. Only 500,000 bottles are made a year, which is about the size of an average, New World winery, let's say. It's considered to be the best Chardonnay in France outside the Burgundy area. But it's also very, very good for Chenin Blanc and for Mauzac. Those are the three grape varieties that we're allowed to grow. And it's really quite extraordinary that here in the foothills of the Pyrenees, which are, we're so much south of France, although we're the most westerly appellation of France, here in the foothills of the Pyrenees, the Loire meets Burgundy. And it shows what an unusual appellation this is,
So what is it special about Limoux in terms of the climate, in terms of the soil, the terrain? What makes the appellation different from others?
Well, what makes us different is that we're the most westerly appellation of the Languedoc. We're right in the foothills of the Pyrenees. I would say that the Pyrenees is the single most important factor when you talk about our wines. It has the most influence on our wines. All the rivers that come down from the Pyrenees, half of them fall into the Atlantic and the other half fall into the Mediterranean. And that's really typical of Limoux generally. We've got the influences of the Mediterranean, which is coming from that direction, which is what brings us the fruitiness to our wines. And we have the influence of the Atlantic, which is the prevailing wind that we have here at Rive Blanc, which brings elegance to the wines. And this is really, really important. And this is why we're so good for white wines, because you have the natural ripening process. You've got the sunny days. We are, after all, still in the south of France, but we're at altitude here. We've got the Pyrenees factor. We have very, very cold nights. I can tell you yesterday morning when I was sorting the grapes, it was about 12 degrees, and that's in the morning, on a summer's morning, So the nights are really cold, and this is very, very important for the maturation of the grapes. That's why we're so good for grape varieties like Chardonnay and Chenin Blanc.
So how high are we here?
Right here at Rive Blanc, we're 350 metres. What you can see in the valley across the road, they harvest about 3 weeks before we do. So those 350 metres really make a big difference. You grow the grapes, you pick the grapes, you make the wine, you bottle it, you sell it, you talk to the people who buy it, and you share it with them. This is a huge privilege. I don't think that there's a single other profession in the world where you have this wonderful thing of working with nature and communicating with the end producer, for the end consumer as well. You've just got everything. It's really, really marvellous. And now our aim for the next 10 years is really to improve the wines, to try and make them better, because this is the holy grail of every winemaker. We're all actually a bunch of egoists, and we want to make the best wine that's ever been made. And so this is really what we're working on now. Yeah.